Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Amy Ray Davis Hour with Uncle Selwyn. We're
Yes.
here to talk about the of my beloved nephew, which impacted the whole entire civilized world
Yeah.
with what people saw for that 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And now we're here to talk about the aftermath. It'll be 5 years and 39 days. So we're going to talk about the changes and the people I've met and the people I haven't met and the people I don't want to meet and the people that can just go to hell. So, hi everyone. My name is Uncle
Can we can
Selwyn.
we also talk? Can we also talk
I will.
about the possible pardon for?
Oh, Amy,
Uh,
why? Why are you going to do that to me, Amy?
I'm just saying.
Why?
Yeah,
Why,
I
Amy?
saw that. I wasn't sure if that was
No,
true or not, though.
Oh,
Andrew,
it's
leave me
true.
alone, man. Leave me alone, Andrew. Okay? Shapiro is this funny looking dude. And guess who his buddy is? His buddy is Elon Musk. Well, that's what the problem with. The problem is Elon Musk is talking to his brother, which is the president now, and he wants to put a word in his ear and he wants to make things happen because this is the only way that they can make America great again is to handle this particular situation with Derek Chauvin. And we can talk about that later, but let me get warmed up first. What do you say?
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we can talk about that later. Um, so I guess can we start out talking about George and what kind of person he was, like the side the media has never heard of, and like only you and family would know.
We eat mayo, banana and mayo sandwiches. That's a family trait.
Hmm.
We eat those. We laugh. We joke. When you look at me, man, when you talk to me, you're talking to George. You're talking to Perry. If you knew him, you called him Perry, but his real name was George Perry Floyd Jr. You're looking at a light skinned version of George because we both think we're funny. He thought he could rap, and he could do a little rapping. I think I can sing, and I can't sing one lick. When we walk into a room, we've got to be the class clowns per se, or we have to acknowledge that we're there by our bigness. And good dude, uh, beautiful smile, deep voice, good soul, belief in God, but he had an issue, and everybody knows uh, about the issue by now. Most people in this world suffer from some form of mental health issues, whether it's alcohol, whether it's women, whether it's eating the chocolate cake. There's many forms of addictions, and some of them can impact our life in a horrific way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people like George that had battled those demons, I call them. And unfortunately, those demons led him to be on the corner of 38 in Chicago on May the 25th, 2020, which consequently put him in a situation that he's no longer here because of the choices that he made. And a lot of people want to blame a lot of things. They want to say that he was on this or he was on that or he did this or did that. Nobody was perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I always say to people, we're not talking about how he lived. We're not talking about how he danced or how he put himself in bad situations. What we're talking about is what that 9 minutes and 29 seconds changed in everybody's life, everybody's eyes, and everybody's hearts. I I related to two types of people on that particular day. COVID was attacking the world, and there was and it was bad. But everybody was in everybody quarantined, so you had no other choice but to be watching this situation. I honestly felt like that there was a lot of things that went in order. Derek Chauvin didn't have the day. Derek Chauvin had the day off. Darnella Frazier walked her niece down to that little store because it was a gang-related neighborhood. And what's the chances of my nephew committing such a petty situation, which we don't know whether it was true or false now, and setting across the street from Cub Foods? So all these things had to come together, man. And I honestly believe in my heart, my mind, and my soul that all of these things came together because there was something that we needed in this world to make a change. And that was May the 25th of 2020 because that day impacted so many people. And I literally feel like there was two types of people before that day. There were people that couldn't read, and there were people that didn't want to read. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of people that didn't think that there was any such thing as white privilege or systemic racism or power and control issues. And I literally know that 7.5 billion people seen my nephew, and what they saw is they didn't only see another black man getting killed. They saw the changing of the guards because ever since May 25th, 2020, there has to be accountability for certain things that go on and happen now. I'm gonna take a breath. Okay, this is when y'all come in and say, Selwyn, what's going on now?
I can't imagine what it's like. I know how traumatizing that news footage was for me. I can't imagine what it was like for the people that knew him and loved him.
You know what, dear? I'm a public speaker, motivational speaker, a truth speaker. And the only thing I did that day, the only thing I did,
What?
I woke up. That's all I did.
Oh, yeah.
That is all I did. I wake up. I wake up every day about 7:30. It was COVID time, so me and my lovely wife, Joey Jones, were putting our babies through school during the day so they would have a normal life. They woke up in the morning, they got dressed, they put the clothes on, and they sat around tables half the day to keep normality going with their school, with their schooling. And I woke up and I walked in a room, and my mother-in-law, God bless her soul, wonderful human being, she's in heaven now, and Joey were looking at each other, and they were looking like they lost their best friend. Never forget it, man. And I'm looking at them, and I'm crazy. I'm like, what the hell wrong with y'all? Did y'all lose your friend or something? Something happened? And they're looking at me, and my mom-in-law had tears in her eyes, and Joey was looking a little distraught. And I live in South Dakota. Now, understand, I've been in the Midwest for 25, 30 years. Played football for a living, went through the gamut, grew up in rural North Carolina, where hatred runs rapid every day. A black man in the South is still a boy. In my little town that I come from, they are still sitting black people in the back of the bus, per se. Nobody has a lot of people don't have nice things. They're still stuck in the Jim Crow South because we were tobacco farmers, sharecroppers. So whenever we see whenever I see things on television against black folks, I get pissed off because I don't see no black people in South Dakota. Hell, I'm the only black person. If I look, the only time that is I look in the mirror, and I have a son now. So I look and I say, hey, I got the only three black people in town, basically. And I just saw Ahmaud Arbery, and I just seen Breonna Taylor, and I'm still mad as hell. Now we own a motel, and that's when it was election year too. So people come to town and hunting, and they got the big Trump signs on and the big trucks, and it doesn't go good for owning the motel because they come to the desk. Hey, can we get a room? Hell no, motel room. The motel is full. We ain't got no cars in the parking lot, but hell, the motel's full. So they always try to keep me calm when it came down to the black and white relations, you know? And I'm looking at television and I'm mad as hell. I'm thinking, damn, why don't they leave black folks alone, man? And that was really kind from what I generally say. But it's like, damn, man, why do they kill black people all the time? When is this gonna stop? And I'm looking at this guy and I'm seeing this guy getting his ass beat. I'm seeing three people on him. I'm seeing this little Asian dude uh, standing guard. I'm hearing all these people holler. And I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. I was like, damn, why don't somebody help him? And then the realization comes to my brain, nobody's going to help him. And after about a minute and a half of this, I I get a phone call. It's 7:38 in the morning. And I'm from a family of 17 people. And Lord and behold, it was number five. And she's from Houston, Texas. And number five tells me, she's like, did you see what? And I hung the phone up and I sat there. Now, keep in mind, I've been absolutely raging, madder than hell. Can't see nothing but fire and brimstone. And that person that I was feeling that empathy for, put that video on that morning. You knew that the black dude was going to die in that movie. That young man was my big sister's baby boy. His name was George Floyd, but if you knew him, you called him Perry. And I sat back, kids, and it was the most horrific thing I think I've ever been through because I sat there and I sat on the edge of my seat and there was nothing I could do. Imagine yourself in a situation where you're looking at one of your favorite people and he went laughing, crying, begging, and dying. And you watched it. And I sat there and every bad thing that ever happened to me, every nigga that I've ever heard, I've seen the Martin Luther Kings, I've seen the Malcolm X's, I've seen the Rodney Kings, I've seen the Ku Klux Klan, I've seen every bad thing that I've ever had go through my brain and my eyes. I saw it all in that next 7 minutes, 8 minutes. But then my nephew hollered out for his mama. And I honestly believe that my sister knew at that point that he was going to cross over. And she had his hands reaching out for him and said, come on with me, buddy. At 8:26 and 15 seconds, my nephew died. And I waited just like everybody else did. They waited to see him die. And I have never been the same since then. You know, you're talking about somebody that I went to Minneapolis 26 times in 10 and a half months because I'd hear something in his voice that wasn't right. Now, keep in mind, my sister had died 2 years before that, almost to the day. She died on the 28th of May. And I knew he was distraught. I know he was mentally uh, going through a bad spot. You can do a lot of things in your life. You can lie to anybody you want to, but the only person you can't lie to is yourself. And all those dreams and thoughts and wants that he used to tell my sister, hey, mom, I'm gonna buy you a house, and mom, I'm gonna get my life right, and mom, I'm gonna get straight. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna be a better dad. Uh, Once my sister died, you just saw something in his eyes, or saw something in his heart that he couldn't fulfill any of those dreams or wishes that he had for her anymore. And you could tell that he was on the path of destruction. And I chased him. I'd hear it in his voice, and I'd get in the car. I lived 4.5 hours away, and I'd be there in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I'd chase him all around the city. Hey, man, are you okay? What's wrong with you? And I knew that sound in his voice. Hey, look, what you doing? Yeah, man, I need to come talk to you, boy, because all you're doing is destroying yourself. And I, uh, I, it put me in a place that I never wanted to be. There's no way in the world I would want to go from sitting in front of my motel, watching my little 5-year-old at the time, 4-year-old at the time ride a go-kart. That's all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was be Jacoby Jones and Kashara Jones's dad. Watch them grow up. And I went from watching my 4 and 6-year-old grow up to having to take care of my nephew. And I heard every bad thing in the world, what he was, how he was, but I know what he was and who he was. And what I know is what happened to him should never happen to any other human being, black, white, blue, green, or purple, or orange. And ever since the 27th of May, I've been on a path of of right of writing things. I have been on a mission to end police brutality, to end qualified immunity, to help save people's lives, to help families see through this murky water that we have to go through. And it's just bad, man, that you have to you have to fight these battles every night. Uh, I think about my buddy. Uh, he texted me on May the 22nd of 2020. I still have that text on my phone. I was too busy, so I didn't see that text until the 25th, 26th, I think. And it's like, "Happy birthday, Unc." And I never got a chance to text him back and tell him I love him. I saw him 2 weeks before the situation happened. And I hate systemic racism. I hate racism. I hate power and control issues. I hate police brutality. I hate all the injustices that come from power and control. So, man, I it just isn't fair that you wake up one day, and that's all I did. All I did was wake up. Glory be to God. All I did was wake up and do what I normally do. And I saw somebody that had a great heart and a great soul, that had a mental health issue, get murdered in the middle of the street. And it started a chain of reaction that has impacted this whole world. And it'll be 5 years in May. And it feels like it was yesterday with how I feel. Because somebody mentioned the word grieving. Grieving is not a thing to me. Uh, Grieving to me is like anger. It drives me to keep wishing and hoping and praying and making moves and being there for people. And the problem that a lot of people have is people talk about things and they don't do anything about it. And I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. And one of the things that I always everybody to join in this fight, because this fight is bad. We need people that don't look like us to join in this fight, because there's over 1,700 people a year that gets killed by police brutality. Hell, there's over 100,000 people that get killed by gun violence a year. So whether it's gun violence or police brutality, death is death. And it used to be uh, dominated by black lives being murdered. Now, at this point in time in the world, doesn't matter what color you are. If you live in a low ethnic crime area, you know, you are suspect to getting racially profiled and getting put in a bad situation. There were two young men that just got murdered on the mountain in Georgia, like 3 or 4 days ago. Why? Why? And that's the question that I really want to know, is why do we still have to fight these battles of being people of color 400 years after the fact? Okay, this means y'all can talk now.
This is what I have to put up with.
Man, I this is me. This is me. I am 192 miles an hour, and I have to be, because I've got so many things that needs to be done. I got so many things that I want to do. I wake up every day, kids, and I have people hit me up in my inbox. Uncle Selwyn, is there any way you can help me through this situation? Uncle Selwyn, my son got murdered, and I've got nobody to have my back. You know, Missing people now, wrongfully convicted, has driven me to be obsessed with change. This has driven me to be obsessed with freedom, because if I can help one person to be free, if I could help one person and not to have to go through the crap that we've had to go through, I've done my job. I've done my job. And I've got a lot of work to do, kiddos. So let's get down. We've heard about the emotional side. Now let's talk about change side. Okay,
I just
Andrew,
I just want
it's
to
your turn.
reiterate something. Hey
Get
Jen,
it.
you know how I can't say no?
Yeah.
He's worse. He's literally not kidding when he says that he gets calls every single day.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me. I was thinking as you were talking that that has to be that has to be your purpose, or at least part of
You,
it.
you know what, Jenny? I honestly think and I'm crazy. I'm by far just as crazy as a bed bug. I honestly think that, as I said before, the Quasars lined up on this one.
Yeah.
Darnella Frazier never walked her cousin to the store. Derek Chauvin had the day off. Now, what's the chances of all those things coming together and my nephew being put in an unwinnable situation that was dominated by power and control? Because all they had to do is sit him up beside the wall, wait for a bigger vehicle to come, and
Yeah.
actually show him some respect. Because when Krug first came to the car, he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry." He didn't say, "Excuse me, sir, could you roll your window down?" He went beating on the window, not showing him any kind of respect. Uh, and the rest of the story, we've seen it play out 1,000 times. And I literally think that he played the biggest trick in the world on Uncle Selwyn because he knew that I was going to sit there in front of that motel and just enjoy the rest of my life watching them babies grow up. And he said, "Nope, not time for that, Uncle Selwyn," because he knew that once I saw that, I had to do something and I wasn't going to be quiet. Now, keep in mind, y'all, like I said, I'm the baby out of 17 kids, so I got a plethora of nieces and nephews. We all sat around one day and we were talking, and somebody posed the question. I would have never thought George would have got killed by police. Who do you think they would have thought would have been killed by police? Me. Because every time I get stopped, like, "Yo, partner, give me a ticket, take me to jail, but you're not stand out here and disrespect me and treat me like a boy because I ain't gonna shut up. So we need to do what we're gonna do because I ain't trying to get shot today." That's me. I'm not gonna let you disrespect me or humiliate me and talk to me like a dog. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if it's that day, it's that day. So we all came to the decision that it probably would have been me that would have had a body in my family because of what I am and who I am and how I am instead of George. So it was only a natural thing, and I know I'm crazy, but I literally think that old man played a trick on me, and he's like, "Uncle Selwyn, I know you're not going to sit down and do nothing. You're going to run your mouth. You're going to educate people on what systemic racism is, and you're going to jump on that police brutality game, and you are going to try to make a difference and an impact with your strength." Because remember, kids, I come from nowhere. I come from an old house, no running water, no indoor plumbing, pooping in a bucket, eating fatback meat every day of my life. And the only way that we left there is we fought. My mama didn't have very much, but she gave us love and she gave us a good heart and a hell of a fight. Put me in a cage with a bear. That bear better that I go through my life and fighting for other impacted families. Every day, all day. Amy's right. We have people call us about missing people. The cat got missing and was in a tree one day, and I called Amy. I was like, "Amy, damn it, we got to make a situation in our foundation where we can go get cats out of trees because we got to save the kitties." You know, I just honestly know, sweetie, that this ain't something that nobody. I didn't sign up for this job. I didn't. I would give it away, but I can't because I can't do nothing anymore. Uh, I have to be that beacon of light for those that don't have any light or have a voice. Because remember this, Jen. Amy already knows this. I'm sure Drew knows this. How many George Floyds had there been in this world? Thousands. Thousands. You only know about Eric Gardner, which is the first I Can't Breathe, and I know his beautiful mother. You know about Tyrese Nichols. You know about Sonia Massey. But what about the Dante, Breonte Davises? What about the Ronald Greens? You know about Amir Locke. But what about Brandon Keys? What about all these other kids that die every day that we knew nothing about? So we're a voice for them. I'm a voice for them. My job is to keep their names loud and proud. Just left Utah 3 weeks ago. They're the monument, the most beautiful murals that I basically ever seen, probably ever seen, because they've got 6 city blocks, and they're on each side of the building, north, south, east, and west. Only place I've ever been that had them there, and God bless them. They're taking them down, and hopefully we can get some permanent murals there. But these things happen. Tonight there will be that will have all intentions in waking up tomorrow, and will be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and won't be able to wake up because of somebody's injustice. Y'all have got several crazy things going out there in Atlanta. What about the young man? What's his name? Amy Johnson. That we talked to? We talked to the father and mama last week.
I don't think I told Jen. Did I tell you about that?
I don't remember. What was it?
We talked to Kendrick Johnson's parents.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, how'd that go?
Dear, that's crazy. That's
Wow.
crazy. And I see so many cases. I'm thinking, wow. And I got to reach out, and it was as human beings, as people that will not. Let me tell you something. It's hard to do something with a sister and her baby. Always know this. A woman's first true love is her son. A son's first true love is his mother. And we got an awful lot of mad mothers in this world, buddy. And Amy had sent me something. And, I glance at a lot of stuff because I've got a lot of things coming at me. And somebody reached out to me, and I looked at that. They cut this guy's innards out and wrapped him in a mat. And
Yeah.
they've had no justice in 10 years. And they have a chance now, though. They got a chance. And they've been battling this situation basically by themselves because they won't give up, and they will get justice. But there's so many cases like that I've seen. Reginald Clay Jr., he was trying to put a gun away, and they shot him 6 times. Dexter Reed Jr., he got shot 96 times in 41 seconds. Breonte Davis, they tased to death. Ronald Green, they said that he had a car wreck and there wasn't a scratch on the car. Amir Locke, they walk in an apartment looking for property. No, not warrant. And they shoot the boy on the couch 3 times and kill him. And his beautiful mama, Karen Wells, is going to have a documentary that's going to show all the insane things that people do to our family members that don't give a damn.
She said that that documentary is going to have like the body cam footage, and for her to be able to have the strength to watch that is just absolutely. I don't. It's amazing.
It's going to be gut wrenching. It's going to absolutely be gut wrenching because I've seen trailers, and from the time they walk up the steps till they walk in the house, and somebody kicks the couch, and the boy's under the blanket, and after they kill that boy, They literally treated him like he was nothing. Just a totally humiliation of a soul, of a good young man. And and a lot of people have these problems, and they think that all people that get killed by police brutality, they're bad people. There are some bad apples. Like there's some bad police officers. There's some good police officers. There's some bad black people. There's some great black people. There's some bad white people. There's some great white people. There's some bad in everything. Good. But the things that we deal with, most of the time, is totally corrupt because they will do something to your family member and they will criminalize them from their past. Or a lot of times it's an emotional roller coaster that one's going on, and they will criminalize what's going on. And instead of them wanting to take the time to have empathy for them, they shoot them 10 or 15 times in a matter of seconds because it's easier to shoot and kill than to conversate and de-escalate. Think about that. Why should anybody die from a traffic stop for a seatbelt violation? I got a young lady in Houston, Texas, D. Crane, hollering at you, girl. Her son got killed for a traffic stop. His little baby threw a piece of paper out the window, and Dave Brochet said it was a crack pipe. And as soon as the officer gets on the scene, he jumps in the back of the car on top of the baby and put two in his head. And they want to stand behind quality community when a lot of these people are just murdering people because they have a military mentality to seek and destroy, to eliminate the threat. There's no threat if nobody has any weapon. There's no threat if somebody's running away from you. There's no threat when somebody is lying on their back. What's the threat? And that's what we deal with quite regularly is a power and control issue, which it just totally behooves me and blows me away that there's been more people killed 5 years after George than 5 years before George. And with these crazy people that are making decisions in this country and their friends, there are going to be a lot of murderers brought back into society because they want to make America great again. Well, how do you make America great again? By bringing somebody out of jail that has blatantly murdered somebody in front of 7.5 billion people. And this is the crazy thing to me. Are they trying to have a civil war? Are they trying to uh, uh, issue martial law? Because we know that if they release these killers, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor's, George Floyd's murderers out of prison, with how America had my nephew's back, and not really my nephew's back, America and the world was standing on principles. That was a senseless killing by somebody that was obviously showing hate, power, and control. If they release these people, what's going to happen? All of these people that were fighting for my nephew to not to be killed in the middle of the street like an animal, they're all going to show their face. So what's the purpose? Are they going to Or they starting that civil war streets because they're going to protest? What are they going to do? Martial law? They're going to bring the National Guard and kill us all? That's what it seems like the plan would look like. Because y'all know just as well as I know, if they release Chauvin and yeah, they can pardon him on the federal side, and then people say, well, he's got to do his state time. When the richest man in the world, which is worth $244 billion, says, mentions something or gets behind something, it has to happen. It has to come to fruition. So my timeline, I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. I'm thinking by the end of the year. I sure hope I'm wrong. Those are the things that we have to deal with on a continuous basis.
So speaking of Derek Chauvin, before charges were filed, right? What were you guys expecting to come out from like the proceedings in time, prison time?
Uh, Andrew, I believe in an eye for an eye, two for two. What you do to me needs to be done to you. But because I'm a black man and I've been living in this world for damn near 60 years, on my ride to Minneapolis, I was 50-50. You can ask, I just left there 3 days before, and they weren't supposed to talk about his past. They weren't supposed to talk about previous arrests. And that was a lie. And when that pathologist gets on the stand and he says the time of death was 8:26 and 15 seconds. And he slowed it down and he's like, watch his eyes flutter. That broke my heart. That took me back to hate period. And I wasn't at the closing arguments because I couldn't take it. I really couldn't take it. Try sitting 4 or 5 feet from somebody that murdered your nephew, that murdered somebody that you love with all your heart. Very hard.
Yeah, I can
Very hard.
imagine.
And they called me and told me that the verdict, that they had a verdict, and I had, I don't know, 4 hours to get there. And you can go back and see an interview that I'd done as I'm pulling up to the motel. And you can hear the tone in my voice. And I was in, I'll tell it to you like this, Andrew. I thought that they would find him innocent or hung jury, but I knew that they had to convict him because they did not want any of the carnage that happened that 3 days before he got arrested. They didn't want none of that. And in my mind, that's the biggest fact in him getting arrested or getting time because they did not want that chaos once again. That's the only thing. That's the biggest factor to me. And 22 years. Well, let me tell you this, Andrew. Krug, Lane, and Tao will be out September. How do you go to prison on a manslaughter charge and do 18 months?
Right.
How do
Yeah.
you go to prison for 3 years for murdering somebody in front of 7.5 billion people and get out within 3.5 years? Because, Andrew, if me and you committed a crime and I put my hands on somebody and you had your knee on their neck and they died, my black ass would be in jail for life. You know that, and I know that. and for them to let them and for them to get sentenced for minuscule amount of times. So was I satisfied? Any conviction I knew had to happen. Was I satisfied? It set a precedent for anybody because you're in that gang of blue. And hey, once again, all police officers aren't bad. We need them. But if you commit a crime, you know there's a slogan with that, don't you know? Something. Because me being a black man and me being in this situation my whole life, I've seen plenty of people commit crimes and not get one damn that 1 second. Look at the people that murdered Eric Gardner, just like George Floyd. Not a day. Not a day. So, it happens. And thank God that there's enough around the world that we pretty much had a conviction because of the people spoke. Just simple. Everybody spoke. Portland, LA, New York, England, London, Africa. I've met people and had done interviews all over the world, and everybody spoke, and they said it wasn't right. And we knew it wasn't right. We've seen this injustice happen millions of times. I was on the show yesterday, and we were thinking about this. There's over 500,000. There's over 75,000 people that's going to get killed this year by police brutality and gun violence. Do the math on that in the last 25 years. That's too many people. That's too much loss of life because of gun violence and because of police brutality. And this is the crazy thing, Andrew. They don't even have a law that makes sure that they have medical attention. I've been put a law called the Medical Civil Rights Bill, which allows a suspect to get medical attention, whether he's with a mall cop or he's in the park. As long as he's around a peace officer, he has to get medical attention. Think about all these incarceral deaths that happen in prisons. They get beat up, or they get tased, or they get damaged at the jail, and they take them to the hospital, and they don't write it as an incarceral death. They write it as they died at the hospital. Imagine that. Imagine how many people have been in situations where they got hurt by the police and nothing was done. Ahmaud Arbery literally blew out, laying out there in the middle of the road, down in your neck of the woods, Amy. He laid on the road for 18 minutes. Then the last police officer come up and he's like, "Hey, y'all know he's still breathing, right?" With the Medical Civil Rights Bill in play, they would have to get them in a stable condition and give them a medical attention in a timely manner. Randy Cox, this is a great one for you. Randy Cox gets picked up in Connecticut. They're riding him to you pull the video up, and they're riding him to the police station. Well, the police officer is driving erratic. He's in the back of the van. Well, he turns the corner. Randy Cox slides down, hits his head. Well, they get Randy Cox out of the vehicle, take him into the police station. He can't move. They got him in a wheelchair. They throw him in a cage. He lays in that cage for 4.5 hours. And then when they get ready to process him in, one of the CLs realized that this guy's really hurt. It cost the state of Connecticut $45 million. Randy Cox. That's the only state that's got the Medical Civil Rights Bill in legislation. And we're moving, and we have to go state by state, because if it gets past federal, don't do nothing for us. That's just the FBI or something. We need to go state by state. and get it passed. You ever heard of Nero's Law, Amy?
No.
Nero Law is given a canine rights. A canine has more rights than a human being. If you kick a police dog, that's assault on a police officer. But yet, you would stop and assist an animal and have protection, and you'll let a human being lay there and die before you give him medical attention. That's the world that we live in, and that's a sad thing. So, man, we got so many battles going on, brother. So many battles going on, and every day I wake up, uh, I don't have to think about what I'm fighting for. I know what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for my babies, my grandbabies, Amy's babies, your babies, all babies, to not to have to wake up and live these atrocities that we've had to live in the last 25, 30, 45, 500 years.
So, what do you think the solution is to, um, I guess, downsizing the amount of like police brutality and the police shootings and stuff like that of people that are unarmed and whatnot? Like, what do you think we can do, if anything?
There's got to be a level of accountability. There's got to be a level of empathy. And let's be real. If you are involved in some kind of police shooting or where you injure a suspect, you need to be put on the bricks. You need to be sat down. There needs to be a union that's not with your police department investigate all of these crimes. There needs to be different hiring practices. And let me tell you something, buddy. Grayson had been at that's Sonia Massey's killer. He's been at 6 different police departments in 2.5 years. Now, if you don't call that a time bomb waiting to happen, what is? If you harm someone, you need to have your peace officer's license taken away. You should not be able to jump to another state or another county or another city if you harm someone. And to me, to me, what would really slow them down, taking your money away slow your ass down, don't it? Derek Chauvin will come out of prison with damn near $2 million with his retirement. Everything needs to be stripped from you because in any other job, if you do a bad job, your ass get fired, don't you? All of your
Right.
benefits get taken away. That's what they need to do. Their benefits need to get taken away. They need to be put on a national register, just like sex offenders. This guy harmed somebody in Atlanta. No way in the hell he should be able to go to Seattle and harm somebody else. Because what we're doing.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy and really sad.
Man, this is the life that I live, brother. This is what I do 24/7, 365, every day, all day, man. I wake up and I call Amy and I go, "Hey, girl, what you doing, light skin?" She's like, "What do you want, Uncle Selwyn? What's the fight? What's the fight of the day?"
That's the nice version
Man.
of it.
Yeah, and it's all day, every day. It's all day, every day. I've got somebody that calls me, that reaches out to me because something sad happened, and I I'm possessed. I am literally possessed, Andrew, and to make a difference in this world. I I got into wrongful convictions. I went to a conference in Ohio, I think this was in September, and I didn't realize that. Think about this, Andrew. Between 2 and 22% of the people that are imprisoned, which there's 2.6.5 million people incarcerated, between 22,000 and 480,000 are locked up in jail and they're innocent. Do you know how bad that bothers me? To realize that there's that many people incarcerated that didn't do nothing with that the wrong place at the wrong time or have the wrong color of skin. And
Yeah.
there's people that's been incarcerated for 25, 30, 40 years. I know that been incarcerated for 45 years. And the other day, me and Amy get a call, and there's a young lady that's doing a documentary on a pathologist or a coroner that wasn't even a coroner, Andrew, in Mississippi and Louisiana. There's over 1,500 people that he convicted, and they've been in prison wrongfully convicted because 75% of wrongful convictions come from the entity that's investigating them. Somebody got rid of evidence, somebody didn't want to talk to a witness, or somebody just didn't give a damn about you because of the color of your skin. We've got a young man named Shanklin that was in Illinois, and he got a murder charge in Ohio. And there's a plethora of these things. These things happen every day. So yeah, man, my brain works overtime. Just thinking. I wish I had some pixie dust, man. I wish I could just sprinkle pixie dust down. Know what I'm saying?
You left out
And
you left out something.
what I leave out, baby.
You also left out the people who have been grossly over sentenced.
Oh yeah, wrongfully convicted, man. Oh my God. How in the hell? I know this young man. I don't remember his name, but he got caught up in the juvenile courts, and he was in a car when a young lady robbed a was went to go rob a house, and the people were home that lived there. So she spoke to them. They hollered. He ran in the house, and he held a knife on a guy. And you know what he got sentenced to, buddy?
Uh,
He got sentenced to life plus 80 years, and he was 23 years old.
Yep.
And
wow.
in the state of Florida, there's over 5,000 people that's been over sentenced. Florida's good for that.
That's because attempt is typically the same sentence as if it was completed. And then but you've also got older cases too. Like, do you know about that old guy Willie in Alabama who's serving life over? I think it's like $9.
I don't know about Willie, but I've heard similar
Oh my God,
situations.
you should look into him. He's an old guy. He's probably in his like 80s now. And
Wow.
yeah, he's and I know I mean Alabama black man, you know, do the math and take away the 80 something years and or maybe he's not that old yet, but he has to be. But he's been in there for a really long time and he's in there over $9 because it was part of the three strikes law.
I knew an old guy in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and he was in jail for this was back in the 80s when he got out. He was in jail from 1923. He said he spent like 65, 68 years in prison because of the eyeballing law. He looked at a white woman and didn't drop his head, and it was called gawking or something. And they let him out when he was 88 years old. But he spent about 70 years in prison because he looked at somebody the wrong way. So there's a lot of injustice that happens in this world. And Andrew, We got to make Pat. We have to make a change. We have to keep shouting these things, and we have to keep putting ourselves in between reality and truth. I mean, and false reality and truth, because there's a lot of horrific negatives that go along with the decriminalization of people. Man, they
Um,
criminalize people for so many things.
I just looked it up. I was wrong. So he was born in 57, but I tell my mom all the time she's like 80 to 120. So we'll go with it.
There you go with that. Listen, man, just because you were born in the late 50s and 60s
Hey,
don't mean you're a relic.
hey, Andrew's 34. He's on 43 years right now as of 2024. So he's on year 44 right now, but it is over $9. His name's Willie Simmons.
You know what gets me, man? Weed is legalized in what, 40, 42 states?
Not
And
Georgia.
there's still people that are incarcerated over selling a quarter ounce
Yep. And the feds is
or
Yep.
a pound of
racist.
weed. And there's over 100,000 people convicted that are still incarcerated over weed convictions when it's legal in their state now.
Hey,
So, man,
Selwyn,
yes, ma'am.
someone just came in with Juneteenth Georgia Coalition. Is that the one you were talking about the other day?
Yes. Is that Steve
The one
Williams?
I don't. He might not want to come up. It might not be him.
Ask if he wants to come up. If it's Juneteenth Coalition, they're my
It says
friends.
Juneteenth Georgia. It says GA Coalition.
Is that the national conference?
I mean, it looks like it's Georgia.
Okay. Because the national conference is down there. Steve Williams is the president. He's going to be a member of our board.
Oh, he said
He,
here. Here,
hey, yeah, put him up here.
I
Bring him
just
to
sent him
the
a request if he wants to
come to
come
the
up.
front of the building.
Now, if you haven't gone live, okay, there you go.
Who is this?
Hi, this Tatiana in Brunswick.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. What's happening?
Oh,
What's happening?
what's happening with you? I
Nothing,
was
girl.
scrolling. I just joined on, and I was scrolling. I seen you were live, so I wanted to join in and say, hey, you've been on my mind. So, how
Hey,
you
mama.
doing?
How you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, young lady. I'm doing fine. Beautiful to hear your voice. Thank you for coming up to the front of the building, girl. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to
Now,
hear from you.
if
And Mr.
if
Williams, he
uh,
talks about you all the time.
that's my man. I love Steve. Glory be to God, man. His mother went to crossed over a couple weeks ago, and I talked to him. I talked to him the day it happened. So that's my man. That is my man. Uh,
Yeah.
Amy, Andrew, Jess. This is Tatiana. As she said, she reached out to me probably, I don't know, what was it, 6 months ago?
Oh, yeah, about that. Yes.
About six
Yes,
months ago,
sir.
because she has a son that's incarcerated that shouldn't be incarcerated, but he is. And they had a video online of him getting abused, getting assaulted in
Oh
a
no.
jail in Georgia. Yeah.
Oh
So
God.
there,
Which one?
Well, I don't want to say which one, but in Georgia, in a Georgia
yeah.
state
Yeah,
prison.
I'm in Georgia.
And
You don't
Yeah,
have
it's a
to
so,
state.
say.
there's injustices, and there's just absolute chaos going on in prisons around the country now because of
Yes.
the torture and senseless beatings of inmates. You
I don't
know?
think people know there is a serious crisis here in Georgia. I know we talk about Ohio a lot, but there really is one here in Georgia. So I
Yes.
know that, like, so Telfair State Prison is supposed to be a maximum security, and you've got people in there that are supposed to be like the worst of the worst, right? But they only have like 6 to 8 guards on staff at all times, so they don't see even a guard come through except for count twice a day. And it's like,
And that's
well,
crazy because I
yeah. And
thought
so,
count was supposed to be every 15 minutes.
but here's
Mm-hmm.
the thing too, is that inside of these prisons, what people also don't know is the stuff that's going on inside of there. So there was a guy who died at Telfair not long ago, and it was because he was put into a cell, and they threw a tear gas in there, and they shoved like a towel underneath the door so it couldn't seep out, and he died. And
Wow.
it's like,
Wow.
I mean, nobody's talking about these things. Nobody's talking about the fact that, you've got all of these like fights and stuff like that. But see, part of that I think has to do with the fact that you just don't, I mean, you don't have anybody who's coming around. There's all these tensions that get to rise with people all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And there's gang problems like crazy.
Yeah, that we heard, that
That's
we know.
true.
There's serious problems. The blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, the Asians. You all have to pick a side, and it's just absolutely insane that they send you to a slave camp to come home.
Hey,
Right.
Monica.
Right. And the time that it takes, like when my son first got sent away from the local county detention center to the state prison, it was like 6 weeks before we had even heard anything from him. Uh,
Yeah, I believe it.
so you
They
don't
call
know what
they
they're
call that
doing. Really, you don't
processing
have
the
no way.
fish
You
tank.
can't. Yeah, the process is ridiculous. You can't send them money. You can't. You
Oh
can't
my
do
God, don't even get me
anything. It's like
started
for
on that,
6 whole weeks.
because people don't even realize too that you can't even send them money unless you're on their visitation list. So
Right.
if you even wanted to just help somebody in Georgia, you can't unless you find somebody that is on their list, and then you have to trust that that person's going to actually like send it and put it on their books. That's why you've got a lot of people that, and this is prisons all over the place, where they end up having cash apps and stuff like that for
Hmm.
people, because they end up being able to get the money to somebody that to one of their loved ones, who puts it on the commissary, and they buy it for the other people. And it's like, this is the way it's not, I mean, it can't, like, it's not sustainable. You've got people who can't, now in Georgia also, you can't even like email somebody unless you're on their visitation list.
That
Really?
is true. That is
Yes,
true.
it's
That
true.
is
It's
true.
100% true.
Well, I've got bigger problems than that. One of my biggest problems about the system is, how can you have one felony, you can't get a damn job, but the person that's running our country had been convicted 36 times? That's another
Yeah.
Well,
scenario.
Yes.
let me back up here though, Selwyn. Don't underestimate the issue with the email and stuff like that, because if they can't like reach their loved ones and stuff like that to report the things that are going on and stuff, it becomes a problem.
Hmm.
And that's like an ongoing thing. But unfortunately, even in those situations, because it has to pass through filters and stuff, they have to talk in code if there's something that's wrong at the facilities.
So,
Hmm.
It's horrible, and you have to know like what they're talking about.
That's
you
true.
give up all of your rights because you made a mistake one time, and they treat you like animals.
And
Think
they
about
get
it.
federal funding.
Oh,
It's
yes.
ridiculous because they get federal funding and they're not using it. And my son has even told me that they've served him rocks on the plate. Clearly, you can see that. How do rocks get in an inmate's food?
They're,
How?
they feed you the cheapest thing that they can feed you to keep you full.
And some
Think
of them
about
only
that.
getting one meal a day.
Yeah. And there's a whole Facebook group dedicated to showing what these inmates in Georgia are eating. It's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
And unfortunately, you've got all these jerks out there who are like, well, they shouldn't have done anything to get in trouble if they didn't want to live that life. And it's
Nobody
like,
deserved that.
give me a freaking
Nobody
break.
deserved that. They
Prisons
Uh,
are
treat them,
ran by the
treat them like
crooks.
animals.
they
Worse than
are.
animals. They treat dogs better than they treating these inmates.
They do.
Well, they take away all of your rights, and you're basically a slave. Think about this, y'all. With
That's
all the
true.
jobs, with all the jobs that inmates do around the prison, if they had to pay a CO that, imagine the cost. But they get an inmate for 40 cents a day
Mm-hmm.
for $40 a month to do the job,
Mm-hmm.
and the federal government pays them, or whoever they work for pays them a
Mm-hmm.
salary, and it goes back to the prison. So the average inmate is probably bringing in what, about $3,000 a month to a prison. Think about that. Think about that. And your calling privileges. Most of them are incorrect. What is it, 50 cents a minute? So think
Mm-hmm.
about everybody that's making money out this prison system. That's the
Yeah.
reason why they're building more prisons than they're building mental hospitals.
Yeah.
Remember, in the old days, they used to have a lot of facilities for mental health issues. Now,
Yes.
hey, what do? Let's criminalize mental health issues and let's put them in jail.
Hmm.
So this is a broken system, and it has always been broken. And I don't know how it fixed, because there's too much money being made.
Exactly.
Way
Exactly.
too much. So, your baby, how's your baby doing? When's the last time you talked to him?
I spoke to him earlier today about what you just said. Concerning him doing labor and stuff, and not getting paid, and him having that on his record, and how the president has all these felony charges and everything that he hasn't answered to, but yet my son is in there. I don't excuse any behavior that he's done to get himself to get in trouble, but my son was at some point a upright citizen. He ended up getting shot, went and left for dead 2 years ago. And he healed from that, and he started back working. He was working two jobs. He was coming getting off of his last job, and that's when he was shot and left. He ended up having his eye being removed, one of his eyes being removed, and he's had some other health issues and everything. So the reason why he's in prison is because he decided to go with an older gentleman and broke into a car. He wasn't trying to steal the car, he was trying to steal items out of the car. At this point that he was doing that, I didn't know that he was out on the street. And I'm not making excuses. I'm telling the story as
No.
best I can because it just makes me so mad because he didn't have to do this. But he broke into the
Every
car. The people saw him breaking into the car. They called the police, so he was arrested on site. They were able to retrieve the items that he had taken from the car. He was taken to jail, and then he was charged with that. He had a prior assault charge because he had went into a store, and he's a young man. He was in his early 20s, and he went into this store, and the you know how well when you're a person of color or African descent, a lot of times when you go into these foreign stores, these corner stores, they follow you around the store. So I guess my son had just gotten a little irritated. And he said that he had got a little irritated because the guy kept following him around, and the guy was pushing him and nudging him to hurry up and get what he was going to get out the store. So the guy slapped him, and by reaction, he slapped him back. So the owner of the store didn't get a charge. He didn't get an assault charge or anything, but my son did. I did not go to court with him then. I didn't know when he had to go to court for that assault charge. But when he stole the items out of the car, it violated his probation
it,
from what they charged him with the assault. And so that's why and I'm still trying to understand this. This, the way for them to sentence him for 3 years on that, and also knowing his condition. Obviously, if you've been shot and you lost the eye and you messed up and you got part of your brain cut out and all this stuff, you're going to have some mental issues. And I'm not blaming that on him, uh, his criminal behavior, but I'm just saying, like you said,
They don't.
mental health is not being addressed the way that it needs to be in everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Japanese. It doesn't matter what color you are. Everybody goes through things, and life be life in some time, and it's overwhelming. And some people, everybody doesn't know how to handle stress. Everybody doesn't know how to cope. And so a lot of times people go to drugs, they go to alcohol, and that just intensifies whatever problem you think it's like a band-aid. You think it's gonna help you for that, but it only helps for a moment. It doesn't.
All all you do is disappear for a momentary lapse, and when it comes
Right.
back, when it's gone out of your system, all the problems are still there.
Still there.
So
Yes. And I
yes,
know that.
we
Hmm.
need to address mental health issues, but
Yes.
the criminalization of mental health issues is at an all time high, dear.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and once again, I will say this: how can my son get 3 years for breaking in a car, and the people that helped murder my nephew do a year and a half,
Hmm.
and then walking on the streets?
Right.
Think about that. Think about that.
It hurts.
The people that murdered my nephew, one of them got 14 months, the other one got 18 months, and the other one will have 2 years and 2 months in, and they will
Yeah.
be out on the streets.
Yeah.
But yet your son made a mistake and broke. And I'm not condoning anybody that makes mistakes, because guess what? People have momentary lapse of reasons.
Hmm.
You can't tell what's going on in somebody's mind. But what I can tell you this is the system needs to be the same across the board. You know,
Exactly.
I I
Yes.
got written. I had an article written by me from a guy from Sports Illustrated about 4.5 years ago, and it's the funniest in the world. He's like, Uncle, I I got arrested, and I had my second DUI. I blew a
Hmm.
3.1. I was locked up in jail for 45 days. There was this young man in there that blew a point 0.9, and we went to jail. We went to court at the same time. And
Hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, the young Caucasian man that wrote the article said, "Man, I'm thinking to myself, whatever he does, I've got to do. My PBT was higher. I wrecked my car. He didn't. He blew a 0.9. And he's like, when the judge got up there, he said, you serve 45 days. You will do 2 months. You'll do 60 days in the county jail." And he
Hmm.
says, I get up there, and the judge said, time served. And he said, right then it changed the absolute way I felt about the world. And he said, man, I couldn't say, hey, Your Honor, I wrecked my car. I blew a 3.1. He blew a 0.9. And he's got to go to jail for 2 more months, and I can walk out today. Where's the justice in that at?
Wow.
And that's one of the problems that we have. Justice depends on the color of your skin. It's what it's been involved around for many, many, many years. And it's
Yeah.
just not right. And
No, it's
like I
not.
said, that's the reason why I have to fight, because every time I hear situations like this, it makes me so mad. And my nephew died to give his uncle a platform and an opportunity to create change and to make change with my voice. And I'm gonna squeal and holler till I can't squeal and holler no more. Because something's gotta happen in this world, girl, to make a difference and a change.
Amen.
Because something's gotta turn around, sister. Something's gotta turn around.
Yes. Well, what can
You know?
we do? Like, I'm just not understanding what can be done. I've seen, like Miss Amy said, there's groups like in the state of Georgia. There's some groups that the people are posting stuff that's going on in the jail. So that's how we know some of the things that's going on. And I thank God for that, because on in there, a lot too much violence. It's ridiculous. But what can we do? And I'm just thinking, some it's I don't even know where to
Talk to,
begin.
talk to our legislators, keep fighting, keep being a voice for those that are incarcerated, and just keep showing up. We have to keep showing up. And like I said, I'm going to a wrongful conviction conference here at the end of the month, and I'm going to be involved, with a lot of people that have been fighting this battle, because this battle is old to a lot of people, but it's new to me. But I
Hmm.
know the difference between right and wrong, and I know that if somebody uh, gets sentenced for 3 years, they shouldn't do 5.
Right.
And there's a lot of situations that just don't add up and don't work out good for people of color. And like I said, and if you don't have a good enough lawyer or correct lawyer, you're going to be put in a bad situation. And lawyers want money, So
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that are fighting against the average person that we have to keep fighting for. Like I said, Tatiana, because you've been in this situation for a couple years, and
Mhm.
you've seen uh, how these things work. Every time you lay your head down to go to bed, when you wake up the next day, you hope you can talk to your son. You hope you have another day to hear your baby's voice.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that chance, and that's what we have got to prevent. That's what we have got to prevent. It's
Mhm.
we need to have more. I think we need to have more opportunities for people to get jobs. We need to have opportunity for people to get more opportunities, to get more education, so people can get better jobs. Because, sweetie, it's hard. It's
Yes,
hard, no matter where you are. And being in the black community, where there's not a lot of industries at, it is hard.
it
So
is.
we have to focus on our young folks, and we have to get our young folks mind prepared to win the battle. Because winners don't quit. People want to throw their hands up sometimes because they feel like they can't do any better. That's where we got to lift them up and say, "Man, listen, pick yourself up, dust your boots off, and let's go to work, and don't give up."
That's what we need to get. So we're gonna step it up.
We
And
got to, Mama. We got to. We got to. Where Andrew at?
I'm still here.
Man, why you so quiet? We in this heated conversation, man. Get on in here. Miss T, that's Andrew. Andrew, like
Hi,
34
Andrew.
years
Thank
old.
you.
So Andrew just sit back in the cut, man, try to be all incognito is what I call it. Come to the front of the building, fella. Come to the front of the building.
Uh,
Where's my girl Jules at?
She said she was sick.
She what?
Said she was sick.
Is she pregnant?
No.
Okay. I was just checking. I hope she listening. That just made her pee her pants. Oh my God, Uncle Selwyn, I'm 57. I can't be pregnant. Anyhow,
Don't talk about that.
I
Tell
believe
her age.
I believe in miracles. Anyhow. So T, when is
Mm-mm.
that Juneteenth celebration out there?
Oh gosh, we have a couple of
On
things
Juneteenth?
going on with my because there's a couple of Juneteenth organizations that's come to the forefront, but most of them focus on the festival part. Where because I'm affiliated with the national organization, we focus more on the educational part. So we have some events coming up. We'll be talking about shove off day, and that was the day, May 25th, 1865, where the United States Colored Troop um, headed out on their journey to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation. And so they headed from Virginia to Texas, to throughout the states and everything, on their trail to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation. So we'll have a celebration on the 24th, and I'm going to share it on my page. You follow me, I'll follow you.
Yeah,
And
Steve Williams will be proud of you because me and Steve have been trying to figure out how we can connect that because George's 5th year anniversary is on the 25th.
yes, yes,
So we're trying to figure
that
out how
is,
we can be
yeah.
someplace at the same time so I could get that celebration in with my buddy Steve, on the 24th.
Okay. What are y'all are y'all doing anything there?
They're having a big shindig in Minneapolis on the 25th.
Okay.
So, and when he told me it was on the same dates, I'm thinking, oh, Steve, how do we do this? How do we do this? So we're gonna have to work out how I can get someplace on the 24th and be there on the 25th. And I've got an event down in Florida that I could potentially attend. So it's always something, girl. It's always
I
something when
see you never sit still, but that's a good thing. Like you said, you're using your voice, and I'm sorry that what happened, that your nephew was murdered in the manner that he was. But I believe in God. I'm a believer. And I believe that all things happen for a reason, and God would not have allowed it. And I know it's hard to hear, but God wouldn't have allowed it if it wasn't some purpose behind it. That's the same way I feel about the things that has happened in my life as well. So I'm not telling you something to try to make you feel bad or anything. I'm just saying this to encourage you also, and to continue to give you hope, and strength, because it takes a lot. I can't imagine. I don't have a family member that has been unalive due to um, police brutality or anything of that nature. But it's just sad to hear.
T, I would not be on the phone with you if that wouldn't have happened to me.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, my nephew was on a downhill spiral. He could have OD'd in the back of a bus, in the back of a house, or any place in the world.
Hmm.
And the Lord saw fit for him, for his life to mean something,
Hmm.
because he knew he had a good heart and a good soul. He just knew he had a mental health issue that he could not shake.
Yes.
And the Lord gave him an opportunity to make an impact in this world. And guess what, dear? The reason why you were communicating with me is because you knew that I'm a fighter.
Yes.
And
Yes, you
guess
are.
what, Mama? I'm fighting on down the road. I can't sing too much, but I'm gonna keep a fighting.
What a
I'm just,
mutant.
I
I'm
just
telling
love
you,
that energy.
I'm telling you, Miss T. What else can I do, girl? I'm in South Dakota. It's 32 degrees. It's gonna snow. So I'm full of vigor. I'm just full of piss and vinegar tonight. I am. I feel like I'm caged up. I feel caged to get out because ain't going outside. It's too cold. It's like 32 degrees, girl. It's snowing. It's
You can
snowing.
have that, okay? You can have
So
that.
so I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just being the other. I'm being my alter ego self. I'm being Selwyn instead of Uncle Selwyn. I got a blanket over me and I'm watching the white flakes fall from the sky. And I ain't going out there, T, at all. You see what I'm saying?
Oh. That sounds so
So,
relaxing.
what? Relaxing, sweetie. Bring your butt up here and get out there then. And we'll go run around in the snow and make an angel. No, 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 no. They call a black guy in South Dakota making a snow angel a black angel, and I ain't trying to be that way. No way. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with
No.
that.
So
But yeah, dear, this is about the fight. This is about the fight. What were you gonna say, my love?
I'm sorry. So I was getting ready to ask Mr. Andrew, like, what is your? This is my first time actually talking to anybody live on TikTok. But what
Uh
is
oh.
your
She's a rookie.
podcast normally about?
So I interview
He's
special
crazy.
guests.
Let me
I
set this up, Andrew. Let me set
huh?
this up, Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew and Amy, they out there.
We are not.
They out there, T.
We
T,
are
they
not.
out there. They out there, T. Go ahead. Tell him what y'all do. Tell him what you do.
So I interview convicted unalivers, survivors of violent crime, and professionals in the mental health and law enforcement field.
Okay.
You didn't mention serial killer.
I
Yeah, I
said
did.
I said unalivers. You can't say that word.
Oh, unalivers. Oh, that's what y'all say now? Unalivers?
Yeah, because TikTok's very particular about language sometimes. Sometimes it lets it
Okay.
go through, but sometimes it flags you.
Okay. Anyhow, T, they cray is what they
Mhm.
is. Because they be talking to folks that, they be
That sounds
talking to
like my
people.
kind of people.
They talk to this one dude the first time I get on the line. They're talking to this guy, and they're all low and cool, and he's talking like this. Yeah, I took the foot off, and I put it on the
No,
barbecue
you didn't say
grill,
anything about taking your foot
and
off.
I like, what the hell did he just say? He cut a foot off, and he was putting some crazy Larry barbecue sauce on it.
Oh
But
my
no,
god.
but
No,
his name was Otto, and he had slain 17 people.
up
Yeah,
to 23.
and
Ooh.
he was talking why he did it and how he did it. And why he did it was a power control issue because he had a bad childhood and he got beat, he got tortured, and he was traumatized. So he was in the
And he hated people underestimating him.
yep, he was a drug addict. So what he would do is he would hang around with people that birds of a feather flock together, and he would give them money to go and score drugs. When you don't give a drug addict no drugs or no money to get drugs because they ain't showing back up.
Right.
And he knew that they would rip him off. And his way of paying them back was to kill them. Because he knew that they weren't going to bring his money back. So he would give them the money and he would wait and he would see them where my stuff at. I ain't got it because I smoke. And he would say, thank you very much.
I'm
Wow.
actually
Yeah.
interviewing one of Otto's friends tomorrow. He's another serial unaliver. He has 4 victims, but yeah, I'm talking to him tomorrow. Otto hooked me up with him before he passed away.
CT, so you better watch out talking to Andrew and Amy because they out there.
Hey,
They
don't listen to him. He's in business with me.
Yeah, they good folks. Oh, they good people. They good people, but they out there. Well,
We're
I
all
ain't going to
those.
that house.
We're
I
all
ain't going to
low
their house to
lifers.
have no popcorn.
Mm.
No, not going to their house to have no popcorn. They be got cadaver.
Why
They be
not?
good, man. T, she had they had a hunt. They were trying to find a body, and she had the flags all in her living room.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was. You were practicing how to put the
No, it was
flags
not. It was
down.
in Alabama. But we did go do a cadaver dog search for a girl who's been missing since 2012, and the dogs did alert, and the cops came out there and did the most piss poor job of a dig I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
They get enthusiastic about trying to find a femur or tibula or fibula. Uh-uh. T, black folks do,
He's just
girl.
jealous. He didn't go with
She
us.
said
No, that
he
ain't what black
jealous.
folks do. Nah, you can keep that. Only kind of damn leg bone I want to find is the one that I got some grease around. Some Set some flour on it. They were
He's just jealous.
no man, Amy. I'm telling you,
I'm gonna take you
and
on a cadaver search.
yeah, okay. Anyhow, see, and we got into that missing persons realm, because that's another, in the human trafficking, that's another
Hmm.
form of injustice that happens at a rapid pace that we're going to put a hand in to see if we can't make an impact there. But Uncle Selwyn is not going on no cadaver dog hunt. Uncle,
I won't tell you where we're
nah,
going.
bullshit. I ain't coming around you now since you're gonna say that.
It's like, period.
The hell to the no. I'm not going no place with you, Amy. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm your president. We're gonna go
They'll be
eat.
like,
No,
we're
we
going to
ain't.
Six Flags.
No, hell no. I
Yeah.
don't like roller coasters. No, 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 no.
Mhm. I'm with you
I'm
on
telling,
that.
I'm
I don't
telling you,
like roller coasters either.
Mama. Have you noticed in the movie? Now you know this. You've seen the movies. In the movies, there's two people to get killed, right?
Right.
And the black man get killed in the movie. The ghost in the movie says, "Get out!" The black man go like, "Oh hell, we run and we jump off the cliff or something, trying to get away from the ghost." And they always get the white woman. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause she's like, "Ooh, want to flip her hair?" And they cut her head off. Wham! But the white guy, the ghost,
That's because she always
Right.
falls
yeah,
down while
and
she's running.
the ghost say, "Get out!" To the white dude. The dude like the white guy said, "The hell would you get out, sucker? No, 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 no. We don't do that." Could you see me? Could you see me out?
You know what I'm
What?
hearing?
Scared?
No, I'm hearing that we need to write a script where it's the white dudes that are doing this. They're falling down and jumping off the
Let me be
cliffs.
the one to put. Let me push a couple. I know a couple I like to push. Can I give you some names? Can I give you some names?
Right
Are
now.
they in the U.S.
There's a
administration?
couple there, but I know some local ones I love to push off the damn cliff. Yeah. I don't
Oh my
condone
God.
violence. I do not condone violence. I just condone hatred.
There's only 4 people that live in South Dakota.
No, there's a little bit more than that. That's like
5.
600,000.
It's so little.
Yeah, but we got a land mass of the size of Texas almost.
We have that like in Metro Atlanta, and then
Well, we
some.
got a person in South Dakota lives every like 9 miles apart.
God, I would
So
love
yeah,
that.
bull. What? Huh? What?
I would love that.
You know what? I'm gonna
I
be
don't want to
honest with
see
you.
my neighbors. I don't want to hear my neighbors. I don't want to smell my neighbors.
Well, what I know is this is when I go to big Atlanta or LA or New York or Chicago, any of these places, I literally hate it because the time it takes to get from point A to point B. The only traffic jam I see is when there's a tractor on the road. Yeah, so I
Okay, so
like to
that is
go.
absolutely true. Listen, there was a dating show that I saw a clip of, and it was this guy who lived on the west side, like outside of Atlanta, towards like the Alabama border. And he found out that the girl that he had been paired up with lived in Buckhead, and he told her that no, because she lived in. He was going to have to get into traffic, and he wasn't going to go.
Yeah, no, we don't want to
So,
do
like,
all of
I
that.
totally relate because it. I mean, it does turn into a much longer, trip when you're talking about getting through that area.
And in New York, oh my God, a mile ride will take you 30 minutes. It's easy
And
to walk.
I don't know where you're at. Tatiana, right?
Yes.
Yep.
But I don't
I'm
know
in
where you're at.
Southeast Georgia,
Oh, okay. I'm just west of Atlanta.
near Jekyll Island. I'm in between Hill and Savannah,
Oh, okay.
like an hour
What the
each
hell did you
way.
say? Jekyll, who?
Jekyll
Jekyll
Island.
Island.
What
You
kind of
never
shit
heard
y'all
of
got
it?
going on down there?
It's down near Savannah in that area. That's what you
Uh
mean.
no, today y'all go again. Y'all got some that voodoo going on down there. Dr. Jekyll and Mr.
Look,
Hyde.
they
No.
do that. Not we. They
The hell
do.
y'all got going? Y'all be
Toward her.
Right.
talk
It's actually it's right. We used to support the Ahmaud
yeah,
Arbery
talk on
family.
another family.
Yeah, and it was heartbreaking to see them struggle and fight for justice the way that they have been and still are, because
Yeah,
there's a lot that still will be coming to the forefront concerning this case. A lot of they just recently had the case with the district attorney, um, did not get convicted on any of the charges for her involvement in the case. So
Not
they're not
surprised.
giving up. I'm not sure if they're going to appeal that decision. I do know that,
No, if
or
she
have
wasn't
heard,
convicted, they can't.
um,
no,
I don't know what they're going to do concerning that. I know there's some other people that are supposedly going to be getting charged soon and having to answer to their involvement. And last I heard, the McMichaels and Bryant were filing appeals for their
yep,
case.
Of course they are.
yep. And you know what? That white guy that just got elected is going to help them out. Watch.
No, that's a
Mhm.
state charge. They
Guess
didn't do the
what?
federal.
Guess what? When Elon Musk is worth $244 billion,
I don't care.
and,
They can't. They
and,
can't.
and
He can't. They can't go into the state level. They'd have to pay off the governor to do it.
Well,
guess
the
what?
crime
He's
that
worth
they were
244
convicted
billion.
of was hate crime. So,
That's
which is
federal.
Right.
now, in the
But
state of
weren't they
Georgia.
charged? Wasn't it on the state level though? It wasn't in federal court, was it?
Yeah,
They
they got
did
charged
have
federal.
some court, some of it was in federal and some of it was in state court.
Well, see, they can't pardon the state stuff.
I'm trying
That
to
has to be the
think
governor.
which
When,
um
when
which
you
was
worth
the
200
feds.
and when you're worth $244 billion, you can get a lot of people to do a lot of things.
Not people with integrity.
They don't care about integrity. When I'm the richest man in the world at $244 billion, what do I care about integrity? I can buy integrity.
Right.
And that's the
That
problem
is
that we have. And speaking on that, T, when I was in Florida, oh God, what, 3 weeks ago, Amy?
mhm.
We're riding down the road, and I remember that it
Yeah.
was that day for Ahmad,
Yeah.
and I called my man and I hollered at him,
Yeah.
and he's like, what are you doing, man?" I was like, I'm calling to tell you God bless you, my brother.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, girl, this is all just
I would like to highlight something
what.
because Ahmad Aubrey has a cousin who is still in the fight for his life, pretty much. And it's over in
Mhm.
Burke County, and his name is Mitchell Lambert. And he was
Tatiana, you know something
arrested.
about that?
No. I'm
He
writing
was
his name.
arrested in 20 Mitchell Lambert, Burke County. He was arrested in 2023. 2023. And he was arrested in July. And they did not give him a bond hearing until November. When they went for the bond hearing, he was charged with kidnapping, robbery, and murder. And there was no crime scene and no body. They were going off the words of this white girl that was also arrested who confessed to all of this, implicated Mitchell, and said that there were two guys that she just called these two Hispanic guys. So when Mitchell went to
Mhm.
court in November of that year for his bond hearing, the judge told him, he said, well, you've got to give us the names of those two other guys. And he said, I'm not involved in any of this anyhow. And the judge says, well, then you don't actually have a 90-day clock on because they never indicted him. He said, you don't have a 90-day clock on the bond hearing. He said, because every day you wake up, it's a new conspiracy every single day that you withhold those names. And so that never made any sense because he was never charged with conspiracy, nor was the woman. Her name's Stacey Welsh. And anyhow, so Mitchell finally got a second bond hearing in June of the following year. He was in for it was like 340 days or something like that without a bond or an indictment. When they go in for the hearing, the the DA says, yeah, we're never going to indict this. Like, all right, he goes, I don't think you even had probable cause to begin with. Same judge who had this whole conspiracy crap back in November. So what happened was he got bonded out. They made it based off the value of another source.
Amy, stay still. Your phone is cracking, babe.
Anyhow, it's not internet. Got bonded out based off of a guy that was, it was for his mom's property. And anyhow, to this day, they still have not just the charges, cannot get a job or anything because people pull up his name and they see, those charges all over the place. They're like, no. They haven't done anything with it. That they kept him in jail all that time, treating him very horribly the whole time, and saying horrible things to him, treating him horribly, telling him he was guilty, telling him that he may well just get ready to go to prison, and all this. I mean, just being horrible, and getting. I mean, he is out, but he still can't even function in terms of like his parole and stuff like that. So it's a false imprisonment on top of the fact that they haven't dismissed the charges.
Oh, wow. I'm going to look into that. Thank you for sharing that information. And I'm getting ready to go. I got to get ready to go to work. But I just wanted to jump on to say hi. Like I said, I was scrolling for a minute and I saw Unc. I saw George up there resting. Continue to rest in power, George. And
Mama,
God bless you all. Thank you,
I just wanted to
Andrew,
say it was
and
nice to
Amy,
meet
for
you.
doing what y'all do. Great to meet
thank
you
you
too. I'm going to
too.
stay in touch. I'm going to keep following
It was
you
nice to meet
because
you.
you're right here in Georgia.
How far are you from Atlanta?
5 hours.
Okay, that's too far because I'm thinking about coming down there Saturday for a play.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
Oh man, that would be so great to
he's got
see you in
himself
person.
muted.
I haven't met Uncle in person. I've talked to him several times on the phone, and we met through the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation with our president, Steve Williams. And I just connected with his spirit, and he's just an awesome, awesome guy. So I want to know more about your foundation, Unc. And so I'm gonna be talking to you soon. I'm getting back. I'm better now, so I'm getting back into
Okay.
the community.
Well,
And
get the swing going, Mama. Get the swing going. Get back to feeling good. And
yeah.
Amy, which happens to be my vice president, happens to be the boss. It's
Oh,
me,
okay.
Amy, and Julie, and we're doing a lot of incredible things with, social injustice, missing people, overly sentenced, wrongfully convicted.
Hmm.
Damn, I got to breathe now and get to the rest of them. We've got a documentary coming out.
That's
We're
awesome.
gonna do some, publishing so we can document people's stories and have us a book tour so they can go out and tell their stories so they can monetize from some of that. Because a lot of
Oh,
impacted family members, dear, you know how it is. It's hard times.
yes,
Hard
yes.
times. So I'm just trying to be a beacon of light and to make the most horrific situation we've ever seen and shine some light on this, girl. God bless you. Love you,
Amen. God
girl.
bless you. Thank you. I
Let's
love you
talk
too. I
soon.
love you all.
Bye,
God
Mama.
bless
We'll
you
talk
all.
soon.
Talk to
You
you soon.
too.
All right,
Good
take care.
night.
All right,
That's a
I
good girl
have to
there.
go too. I gotta get ready to kill my internet.
Kill your internet?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on for a second. How long has it been
Well,
since
this
I
my
have
phone.
Oh my God.
sang
Oh,
a
I'll
song?
drop you. Hang on. Oh, there she
What? You
goes.
trying to mess my song? You trying to mess my song up? Anyhow,
Haha, muted you.
Well, thank you for coming on
there
tonight.
you go, man.
It's
I ain't studying you,
been awesome
Amy and
with you.
Andrew. You always do this, man. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all.
All right,
You're
well,
welcome.
thank you again, Selwyn. You guys have a good night, and we will all keep in touch.
Okay.
Peace and Soul Train.
Oh my gosh, tell me we mute you.
Bye.
All right, you guys take care. See you guys soon.
Bye, kiddos.
All right, bye.